Guys, welcome back to the Drone Camps channel where you can find the latest drone news and reviews. Today, we're talking about an event that occurred yesterday on the Homeland Security Committee live stream. We're going to condense that 2-hour segment down to some digestible tidbits that you can get some takeaway from for what was the agenda at this meeting and the brand new system for flight authorizations that you might not have heard about yet, which I'm sure you haven't. And today we have a revelation from DC that they're currently lobbying for a brand new airspace system and what they're calling the Digital Flight Authorization System. This would include your drone not being able to take off unless it was authorized to do so, and what that drone's intent is before taking off, as well as your identification and your location. And in this committee meeting, there were 4 different commercial and industrial representations from the drone industry commenting on a panel to the Homeland Security Committee and stressing the need for this brand new system to be put into place. This would affect all drone pilots in the US, including commercial and hobbyists. They also mentioned FPV drones, drones that you can buy from Walmart, and people that can just go online and buy and purchase and fly a commercial drone. So I implore you to sit through this video, watch it in its entirety, and digest what's being said here. The Digital Flight Authorization is possibly coming in the next 12 months and is currently being lobbied to be pushed through Congress quickly.
Today's hearings examine how drone warfare tactics used abroad are transforming threats to our homeland. From Ukraine to the Middle East, our adversaries are deploying increasingly sophisticated drone capabilities that can be adapted by terrorists, lone actors, or state proxies within the United States.
And so there it is again. This is the feeling and the emotion in DC that I told you guys about previously about the Chinese drone ban and how it's not a joke. This is the feeling in DC and the fear and the reaction from this possible scenario that could take place on US soil.
Once confined to distant battlefields, these platforms are now being deployed in ways that challenge traditional security assumptions and expose critical vulnerabilities across our homeland. These include quadcopters assembled from commercial parts, long-range loitering munitions, and first-person view kamikaze drones enhanced by open-source software. They are low-cost, they're adaptable, and increasingly precise. We cannot afford to be reactive. The time to act is now. Another concern is the widespread presence of Chinese-manufactured drones operating within the United States. DJI, a company based in Communist China, commands a significant share of both the global and U.S. commercial drone market. Its platforms are used by private industry, lobbyists, and even some public safety agencies. In fact, even several DHS components have, and explicitly, use DJI's Aeroscope system to monitor drone activity near sensitive locations.
And like I said before, DJI is first in line.
While Aeroscope may offer affordable situational awareness, it also raises serious concerns about the national security risk posed by Chinese-linked technology, especially regarding data access, remote control capabilities, and potential sabotage during a future crisis or conflict with China.
The emergency response in Texas is actually relevant to today's hearing, as one helicopter involved in the rescue and recovery operations had to be grounded after a collision with a private drone flying in restricted airspace. The incident goes to show the threats drones can pose even when operators have no ill intent, and the need for more robust government capabilities to address such threats. As drone activity increases, we must ensure the government has the authorities and resources necessary to take action against drone operators who do not follow the rules, including both careless and clueless operators. The need for Congress to extend and expand the government's counter-drone authorities have never been more pressing. I hope the Republican majority will prioritize moving legislation to address counter-drone authorities soon.
Did she just say privatize counter-drone authority? It did sound like she screwed up and said privatize.
My name is Tom Walker. I am the CEO of Drone Up and a former U.S. naval officer, and I lead one of the nation's top drone technology companies. Today, we've all seen that these systems are also emerging as national security threats. And just 2 weeks ago, as the ranking member mentioned, during high-intensity search and rescue operations Amid the July 4th flash floods in Texas, a privately operated drone struck a rescue helicopter over Kerr County, forcing it to land and taking it out of service while dozens were still missing. It's the latest reminder that these are not hypothetical threats. They are happening now in active emergency zones and putting lives at risk. We need a low-altitude airspace coordination system that provides law enforcement, regulators, and commercial operators with a real-time view of what is flying, where it is, and its intentions. Remote ID signals must be authenticated and protected from spoofing. Detection systems such as radar, RF, and acoustic tools must be fused into a single integrated surveillance picture.
Their wide availability, small size, low cost, and modular payloads make them attractive for intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance, as well as destruction of critical infrastructure and effective delivery of ordnance. The weaponization of private drones in the United States is also a significant and growing concern. While drones have been beneficial application with public safety in various industries, their potential misuse, especially when armed, possess challenges for law enforcement and national security. During my time at the FAA, we received several videos and briefings showcasing drones outfitted with chainsaws, flamethrowers, firearms, and makeshift chemical dispensers. Just weeks ago, the world witnessed a historic shift in small drone warfare. Ukraine's planning and execution of Operation Spiderweb has rewritten the rulebook on drone threats, distance, cost, and autonomy, no longer constraining our adversaries. An attack like this can be prevented today using current safe and effective counter-drone technology, such as RF cyber takeover technology, which can detect, track, identify, and take control of the drone, then landing it safely when and where law enforcement or security want it to. The industry agrees an attack is only a matter of time, it is not a matter of if it will happen. Expand authorities to state local law enforcement and train security professionals guarding our critical infrastructure.
So this is where they want to expand to local and state authorities to be able to take control of your drone if they deem it to be a threat to public safety and land it where they choose.
We're at a pivotal moment in aviation history. At commercial airports and ports and power plants, prisons and disaster response sites, stadiums, and even the White House complex. And a Chinese DJI drone was even used in the attempted assassination of President Trump around this time last summer. We've seen mass confusion over drones, or what some mistakenly thought to be drones, in New Jersey last December, resulting in significant media excitement and very few answers.
My fear is that in the not-too-distant future, unmanned systems will perpetrate the largest terrorist attack in American history using drones, obviously.
One of the things that you pointed out is probably the most critical point here, and that is we have both good and bad actors in the air. And right now, we can't identify which is which. Whether they're flying over a bridge for appropriate purposes, not flying across the border for appropriate purposes, not flying, we have to start there. We have to start by having an awareness and seeing our airspace.
I also think it's important to distinguish between responsible commercial operators and those that are flying commercial off-the-shelf drones that maybe they bought on Walmart or
Are these Walmart-type commercial drones that are purchased capable of being retrofit to do harm?
They absolutely are, sir. And the number one seller of those drones in this country is a Chinese company called DJI, which used to restrict their drones from flying in spaces like where there was a TFR in place or over an airport. And last December, DJI removed the geofencing on their drones, giving the operators, these are not typically commercial operators, sometimes they are, but oftentimes they're just random people who buy a drone and sometimes do stupid things with them. They've removed the geofencing, so now they can go into a zone like the helicopter incident in Texas that used to not be able until DJI changed their own rules. Yeah, as mentioned, it's not a technology problem anymore. All three of these companies, as well as many other AVSI member companies, have technologies to provide a very complex, intimate portrait of the airspace to be able to distinguish between authorized drones and unauthorized rogue drones. You can maybe find the operator and ask them to politely to land the drone.
As the chair of the Subcommittee on Cybersecurity Infrastructure Protection, I'm especially concerned about the potential for foreign manufactured drones to be exploited by adversaries to carry out cyber-physical attacks against critical systems.
Cyber effect, obviously, we've seen in different formats and different forms, capable of carrying a virus, injecting it into, Internet of Things, in different places. We've seen this happen. We know it's happened several times. Anything that can connect Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, or anything that connect even on the LTE bands can inject some type of virus or some type of cybersecurity vulnerability into the system.
We need to have a digital flight authorization service that has cryptographic credentials for both the operators, for the platform, and for their intention, and that only when those three elements are fused together in an appropriate manner will we authorize that flight. That is just one approach that we believe is appropriate to ensuring that we are strengthening our cybersecurity wall against potential vulnerabilities.
That's right, the brand new system, Digital Flight Authorization, which only allows you to take off after you log into it. You would have to have an internet connection from your phone or your drone and have it logged into that system with your user ID, which is most likely going to have your state ID or local ID in there to identify you. Maybe it's going to have your real ID in there as well. And then once you identify yourself and what you're going to do with your drone, then you can take off once you get the green light. So you will have to wait for them to authorize your flight.
Mr. Hutton, are you worried about a catastrophic drone attack happening in the United States?
It's a very short space between the inconvenience, right, that we have seen to date, shutting down airports, raising alarm bells, and a catastrophe.
Are you worried about a catastrophic drone attack on the United States?
It's very worrisome. Yes, the answer is yes.
This committee was formed in the aftermath of 9/11 to provide for the security of the homeland. We don't have all the jurisdiction to provide for that, and absent that, we need to make sure that we coordinate that with the other committees. And so I'm afraid that, and I hope not, but I hope that we don't have to have an incident similar to 9/11 for us to come together as a Congress and say, these are the things that we need to do to counter this threat. These are the things that we need to do to counter cybersecurity threats.
This gives me the opportunity to talk about drones flying over New Jersey. As many of you know, last year we had the situation where there were tons of drones flying over different parts of New Jersey, which honestly sent people in a frantic. And you can understand why. Even to this day, there are still drones flying over New Jersey. My sister was driving down the Garden State Parkway the other day, and she literally freaked out because she said she saw like a drone flying so close to the parkway, and it was just a really scary and honestly kind of gave people a feeling where you like it's like a aircraft out of space somewhere, and you're like, what is happening? Because people are not used to seeing drones just flying over them, and so it continues to be a problem in New Jersey. And we have been, given information from the government about how these drones were not dangerous. They were okay, nothing. But honestly, I'm not even quite sure they understood where the drones, where they belong to, who they belong to, and can say that they weren't dangerous. We just don't know, and it doesn't seem confident that there is, concrete, really, good information coming from the government about these drones flying, especially when you have so many, and you can't really pinpoint where they are coming from.
Right now, we have no integrated system which ties the operator and their qualifications and their certifications to operate digitally to the platform that they're operating and to their intent, where you can immediately identify who that is operating. That's the point that we've been trying to make for a long time is, yes, it's great that we can go out and we see that drone, but to your point, you should have had no concern as a member of Congress or as a member of the general public that that drone is operating appropriately and is authorized. There should not be that fear.
3 companies before you all make competitive products in this space. There is a supply of this capability.
Who would run that air picture?
Well, that would depend. Probably it would have to be delegated down to the operational users using a set of standards and certifications and validations provided for by the federal government.
Mr. Walker?
I think the other thing that you need to think about, sir, is the fact that it's easier to hide in a crowd. Drones in our airspace right now outnumber manned aircraft 4-to-1. That's going to double by 2027. That's going to double again by 2030.
Now, you stated in your testimony that swarms of small drones are prevalent. like those that were used in Operation Spiderweb in Russia, can be used to saturate enemy airspace, overwhelm air defense systems, and execute lethal strikes. How easy would it be for foreign governments to conduct similar attacks on Operation Spiderweb did here on U.S. soil?
Three of us here in front of you provide situational awareness and mitigation technologies. Those government agencies who would be our customers at the state and local level, and often at the federal level, cannot buy them. They cannot. They do not have a forum to deeply learn about them and understand what capabilities are there. And if they did buy them, would not have the authority to employ them.
Do we know if those drones are able to capture, photograph, images, videos that a independent person is using perhaps just for fun? Do we know if they have access with their technology to actually use that information unbeknownst to the operator?
Every time they update the drone, every time it touches the internet, they get a new update to it, new profile, all that information's in there.
Yep, that's right. They can download the images and the videos that you took on your drone every time you update it and connect it to the internet. Did you have any idea about that? Most of you guys probably didn't know that, but they're telling you right here in this committee that they have that capability.
So the drone that looks like it's dropping off a package and the drone that looks like it's dropping off a bomb looks exactly the same. And that makes your job that much more difficult.
One of the things I learned is that Capitol Police doesn't even have the authorization to mitigate and deal with drones. So we introduced a bill, it's HR 3334. I would love it if the chairman would consider supporting this effort to give Capitol Police the ability to take down drones. I realize there's the Secret Service as well that has the capability and the authorization to do so, but if we're not even willing to give authorization to protect the Capitol, I think that's a pretty key indicator that we're not prepared to protect the rest of the country, which I think needs to happen. And so I appreciate, Mr. Walker, you bringing up the integrated airspace management needed. I know you've been beating that drum today, and some of our adversaries could launch an attack like that mimics that attack from outside the U.S. Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
They could do that from a country or a city like Monterey in Mexico, or Ottawa or Calgary in Canada. Is that correct?
That's correct.
I think we've really put a light on the issue and the fact that we as in Congress need to focus in. We're kind of spread out on authorities, need to kind of focus this in. And you have my word that this subcommittee and the staff of the subcommittee are going to work with you to identify those areas and those other jurisdictions and other committees of jurisdiction we need to work on in order to really protect America, which is really what our job is. As you also can see, this is a bipartisan effort. Both sides of the aisle see the threat, and both sides of the aisle, are committed to try to resolve this problem before anything happens. And so I want to thank the witnesses for their valuable testimony and the members for their questions. Members of the subcommittee may have some additional questions for the witnesses, and we would ask the witnesses to respond to these in writing. Pursuant to Committee Rule 7E, the hearing record will be held open for 10 days. Without objection, this subcommittee stands adjourned. You too.
So there you have it. Something that completely flew under your radar yesterday, and you didn't even know about: the digital flight authorization software that they want to implement to control and track and identify, and its purpose for every single drone flying in the United States, whether it's commercial or hobby. They are there lobbying in commercial support of the HR 3334 coming to Congress very soon. So this is a brand new bill and a brand new package that's all consolidated from commercial interests to federal interests to be able to track, identify, and find out what the purpose is for your drone and authorize you to be able to take off. Like always, I will put a link down below to the bill, HR 3334, so you can read it for yourself and see what they're putting into this bill, which may affect your drone flying in the next 12 months. Please let me know what you think about this news down in the comments below and what you think about the proposed digital flight authorization. Stay tuned for more drone news and reviews right here on the Drone Camps channel. I'm Justin Davis, and I will see you on the next one.